Yes, I'm still here, Hollywood. And coming up on today's episode, he's got the kind of smolder that could stop traffic, or at least make you miss your exit. With a leather jacket, a rebel streak, and that dangerously cool stare, he became one of TV's most unforgettable leading men. But his career goes way beyond that iconic look. From soaps to Broadway to primetime, he's done it all, and done it with style. This is Still Here Hollywood. I'm Steve Kmetko. Join me with today's guest, the man who made 90s TV a little hotter, Grant Show from Melrose Place. Grant, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. You grew up in California, right?
I did.
I'm
from your part of the world, though. I was born in Detroit.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, in Southfield. Go ahead.
Do you ever get back there?
You know, I did. I spent summers there as a kid. Spent like our whole summer vacation with my grandmother, and that was amazing. I mean, what a great place to be a kid in that part of the world.
Are you a Tigers fan?
You know, my grandmother was. I don't follow sports. My dad didn't follow sports. I was of the mindset of, like, I'd rather play them. I don't really want to watch somebody else play them.
Because the Tigers did pretty well this year.
Did they? Good for
Yes,
them.
they did. They made it to the postseason.
My grandmother will be happy.
What was it about Los Angeles and Hollywood acting that got your attention?
Well, I initially, when I first kind of started trying to make a decision about what I wanted to be when I grew up, I wanted to be an astronaut for real. And so I did the things that you would do to get on that path. And actually, at the time when I was in high school, there really was very, very little space program. So next best thing I thought would be to fly for the Air Force. And there's just a bunch of stuff you got to do to get into the Air Force Academy, and to set yourself up for that. And in doing those things, I realized that I did not want to be in the military. I'm sure that's why they give you those things to do. You realize that, if you're that type of person or not, and I was not. Am not. And then I kind of just screwed off for a while. I did some plays in high school just because someone asked me to do one, and I had a great time doing it, but I didn't think that it was anything that I would do for a living. And then I graduated high school and had no idea what I wanted to do. And a couple of years, just jagged off for a while. And a couple of years later, someone said, "Hey, the community theater's doing a play, and we heard, you did plays in high school. Why don't you go out and they need people?" And so I went and did it, and I was like, "Oh, this is really fun. And if I could get someone to pay me to do this, then this is what I want to do." And then I started pursuing that. What I needed, I had no idea how to do it. I just thought, go to school. UCLA has a theater program. It's in Los Angeles. That's where they make movies and television. Why don't you go there? That's a good place to start.
You used the word jagged off.
Yeah.
I used that when I was growing up in Chicago. That was
I think it might have come from there.
I think it's a Midwest kind of a word.
I think it is.
You don't hear about it too much out here.
No.
Do you remember the moment when you thought, yeah, this is going to work?
I'm still trying to figure that out. No. I think once Melrose Place started to be successful, it was pretty clear that I was going to have the ability to keep working, that it was going to give me a career. And, I was right about that.
At one point, though, you went back to, or you went to, not back to, you went to London.
That was before Melrose Place. So I was in my last year of school at UCLA. It was in that last quarter, actually. An agent had seen me in a play there and wanted to sign me, and I didn't think I would get anything, but I thought, this is a good opportunity to get some audition practice. And I did. I ended up getting a job. I ended up getting a daytime soap in New York. So I went back to do the soap. To do Ryan's Hope was the soap, and did my 3-year contract on that. When I was done, I had some money in the bank, and I wanted to keep working and keep studying. And so I auditioned for the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts and got in, and for their 1-year overseas program. And I spent a year there. And then I came back and started doing theater in New York, and eventually moved out to California because I was flying out to California, doing a job that paid me money, and then going back to New York and spending all my money. so I figured the best thing for me to do would be to move out to California. That was a little before Melrose Place.
Generally speaking, when you talk about, for example, Brits, they're considered very good actors, you know. What did you learn going to London that helped you in your career so far?
You know, honestly, I can't really couldn't put my finger on it. That whole time there really was just kind of like summer camp for actors.
Really?
With bad weather. Yeah. You know, I'd studied theater history at UCLA, and that was really important, and really gave me a sense of where we are as people in storytelling. And I think that the time in London at Lambda kind of augmented that. It made me not afraid of Shakespeare and classical work. I think that, you know, studying accents and things like that was pretty unsuccessful for me there. But I've been working on that again now, and I think it is that foundation that they gave me that it is now becoming more successful for me. It's just hard to say when you go to a conservatory like that what exactly you've learned, but you're immersed in what you're doing for so long that it kind of just bleeds into you.
Did you feel like you could really grab onto acting as a career?
I had already been working for 3 years,
Right.
and had assumed at that point that this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to continue doing. Obviously, in a field that's so kind of unstable, you really never feel super secure. I don't think any actor feels like they're completely secure in their job. But I had decided this was what I was going to do, and I was going to continue doing it.
When Melrose Place came along, did you have any idea it was about to set a pop culture wildfire?
Well, you know, it was a spinoff of another show, 90210, that was already doing that. So, and Aaron Spelling is the hit machine. So there was a good sense that it was going to do what it did. But we weren't the first even whole year of that show. And the first, you know, pilot and what our intention seemed to be was a lot nicer and sweeter and kind of almost like, you know, 20-something as opposed to the 30-something show. And we didn't do well in that with that intention. It wasn't until Heather came on and they kind of moved away from a feel-good show to, you know, a backstabbing show that we became successful. And so, no, I did not think it was going to be what it became. I figured it was going to be successful. I did not think it was going to be what it was and as hugely successful as it was.
What was that like, going through that and seeing the success start accumulating?
It's fun. It's really fun. It's fun to be on a hit show. But, you know, there are other things that happen that you don't see happening. You start to lose your ability to just kind of be out in the public. There's a thing that happens with fame that I saw happening not just with myself but with everybody. When it's that kind of fame, you kind of lose your humanity. Not yourself, but the way other people see you. They don't see you as a human being anymore. They see you as Jake or the character that you're playing, and they have a relationship with you that is really one-sided. And for them to continue that relationship that they have to disregard that you are a person other than that thing that they're seeing. And it's very dehumanizing. I think that's where all the bad behavior comes from, by the way, of like famous people. I think it's almost like, well, you're going to take my humanity away from me? Well, screw you. I'm going to do whatever I want to do, you know? And I don't think it's conscious, but I think it just kind of like sort of sneaks up on you. You know, I went through a bunch of time where, I look back on it now that, and I think I was a pretty decent human being most of my life, but I look back on some behaviors that I had. I was like, that was really not good. And not me either, you know?
Can you share any of it?
No.
With us? No, you can't? Okay. We'll wait for the book. You actually debuted on 90210. You mentioned that before Melrose. What was there connective tissue between the two shows?
Yeah. I knew when I got the job. Well, I auditioned for Melrose Place. I was the first one that they cast. And they had intended casting this role to go on to 90210 and springboard into the new show. So that was all planned out, and I knew that going into it.
What about those first couple of seasons? What was that like?
Well, the first season was really touch and go. I don't think any of us felt really confident that
Like it was going to go?
Yeah, we felt pretty good because it was Aaron, but our ratings were not very good. The show wasn't very good, I don't think. It was all right. So that it was the second season, and it took off. And when it did take off, it took off like a rocket.
And before that, on Ryan's Hope was your big break, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did the early soap teach you about working?
Delivering quickly. We did a lot of work on Melrose Place. We shot 34 episodes a year. Sometimes we were shooting 2 episodes at a time. We would do like two and two at a time, 2 and 2 at a time, and then 3 and 3 at a time. And so you were just like
Cranking it out.
Yeah, and I, as I look back on it now, and then we were younger, so it was easier, but there wasn't a lot of time to do anything but work, for the 5 years that I was on that show. There's a whole period of time, like those 5 years, where I couldn't tell you what music was out. I couldn't tell you what movies were out. I couldn't tell you what was on TV, because we didn't have time for any of that stuff. We were just working. And the soap teaches you that. I mean, you're shooting, mine was a half-hour show, so it wasn't that bad, but you're shooting between, a half-hour show is like 35 pages, and an hour show is like 60-some-odd pages every single day. And you're not in all of that, but you're probably going to shoot between 15 and 25 pages in a day. That's a lot. I mean, and to be able to, like, learn it, make some choices, and deliver those choices that quickly, that's a skill set.
How much rehearsal did you have?
On the soap?
Yeah.
You'd get there early in the morning. You'd have about, 5 or 10 minutes per scene to kind of work through what you were going to do, and then you would do a camera run through of the whole show once, and then you would shoot it twice, and that was it. On Melrose Place, you'd go in, you'd do what they call a rehearsal, and that's just the director telling you where you were going to stand. And then you'd do a camera rehearsal so they could see it, and then we'd go off and they'd light it, and then you'd shoot it.
Did you learn any gimmicks as to memorizing dialogue?
At the time, back then, it just was a muscle that I didn't have to worry about it. As you get older, now I get all kinds of gimmicks. I have to say it out loud, like, 40 times. I have to write it down 3 times. I have a person that I call, and I pay her $30 an hour and just run lines with her. No.
How did the role of Jake Hansen first land in your lap?
It's just another audition, just like all the other auditions I was doing. I was 30 at the time, so there were tons of shows to do. And that back then it was during what they called pilot season, so it was sometime in January or February where you're getting like, a ton of those things. And just read for it, and you read for something and you move on to the next thing. But it seemed like every office I went to, the next office next door, they were reading for Jake's. I must have read like thousands of guys for this role. How I got it, I don't know, but I was lucky enough to be the guy on the day. So that was the kind of most unique thing about reading for Jake, was that it was just everywhere, and they were really making this huge push to get it. I also had never seen, when I got the role, when they offered it to me, I'd never seen 90210, so I had to watch it to see who Kelly was, see which of the 3 girls I was going to be working with.
Is there a storyline or arc that stands out in your mind that was your favorite?
Oh, man. What's weird is, like, because it was so much work, I barely remember it. And also, when I was 8 years old, I fell and hit my head so hard that I went into a coma for, like, I think it was 8 or 10 hours, and I have the worst memory. Like, it's really bad. And I used to think it was just because I was self-centered, which I am. But that's not what the problem with my memory was. I had gone to Hawaii during the summer when I was in college. There was a program that the University of Hawaii had that you paid, $350, and you take one class, and then they give you let you stay in the dorms and they feed you 15 meals. It was like, it's a great, $350, I can go to Hawaii for the summer. Well, you also get a roommate. So he and I hung out all the time, and years after, maybe 5 years after this summer that we spent together, I ran into him, and he was like, "Hey, remember that time when we were at Hawaii, and we met those girls, and we took them to the university swimming pool, and we went skinny dipping, and we got caught by the police and thrown out?" And I'm like, "No, I don't remember that."
Not a clue.
That's when I realized it wasn't just self-centeredness. So if I forgot something, please don't take offense. But I watch the show, and I'll see scenes. I'm like, I have no memory of shooting that at all. None at all. But back to your original question, I think the storyline that I can remember that I enjoyed the most was working with the character's brother, Dan. Darn, I can't remember his last name. But it was fun. It was good having a brother that I killed.
That you killed?
Yeah.
Do you remember who brought the most spark when cameras rolled? Who you enjoyed playing off of?
Well, Heather was great. And I mean, Heather just has her own unique style and personality, and she's just really, she really is iconic. I also really enjoyed working with Daphne, of course. But when I watched, there was some kismet that happened with that cast. Years later they did a remake of it, and it was like the kids, and then the original cast was their parents, and I watched it, and the kids were all, they were good actors, there's nothing wrong with them, but whenever their scenes were on, it was kind of dull, and whenever the original cast got together, it sparked again, and there's just some kismet there, just something about that cast that put them together, and it worked well.
What about Aaron Spelling made him so good at putting casts together and coming up with the idea for a hit show?
God, if I knew, I'd be a billionaire too. I don't know. We had another guy that was playing Billy, and after a couple of days, it became clear that he wasn't really going to work out. And I don't remember how Aaron had heard about Andrew, but he brought him to the house over the weekend, and was like, he just knew right away that this was the guy, and he was, And Andrew's like never really done much. I think he did Melrose Place in one movie, and yet he was perfect in that role, and super charming, and girls loved him, and So how did Aaron know that, and how did Aaron find him? I don't know.
Andrew Shue?
Yeah.
He's related to someone, isn't he?
Elizabeth Shue.
Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
They're brother and sister.
Yeah.
When it came time to leave the show in '97, how tough was that decision?
Not at all. Aaron and I had some run-ins, and there was some stuff about Aaron, and that I felt like he was kind of trying to keep me down. Maybe I was wrong about that, but that's what it felt like to me at the time. It wouldn't let me. There were other jobs that were presenting themselves that he got in the way of, and so there wasn't really any question that I had to go. If I had been able to go and do other work outside of the show, then it would have been a tough call. But because I felt like I was being stifled, I just had to go.
Are you saying no love lost?
No, I mean, Aaron and I kind of butted heads, but I literally cried when he died. I shed tears. And something can't be that seminal in your life without it being a part of you. And I have a great pride for the time that I worked on that show. And I would not be who I am had I not spent those 5 years. I don't mean just career-wise. I mean just as a human being, if I had not spent those 5 years on that show.
The show leaned into camp, drama, wild twists. Was there ever a script that came to you, if you can remember, that you thought, we're really doing this?
I think all the time.
Really?
Yeah. They blew the building up. They blew my boat up. I fell off a third-story floor. I think only survived because I landed on my brother. It was just like on and on and on. I think the kind of maybe the most difficult thing for me at the time, not being a particularly good actor, wanting to be a good actor, but not really having a lot of facility, was trying to figure out how to navigate that and how to act in a realistic and believe in the things that you were doing while you, the actor, was like going, this is ridiculous, pardon my French. So yeah, it was on it. I mean, that's what made the show fun, was that craziness. So it was all the time.
And we'll be right back. If you'd like to be more involved with us at Still Here Hollywood, you definitely can. Just visit patreon.com/stillherehollywood. You can support us for as little as $3 a month. You can get our episodes a day before they post anywhere else. You can see what guests will be coming up and submit questions for them. You can even tell us what stars you want us to have on as guests. You'll see what goes on before and after the episode, plus exclusive behind-the-scenes info, pics, video, and more. Again, that's patreon.com/stillherehollywood. Do you not think you're a good actor?
I think sometimes I am, and then I think sometimes I try too hard. And I gotta say, I'm still working at being better than I am. And I think Dynasty allowed me to relax a little bit. And yet I can still look at some scenes in Dynasty and I'm like, oh, I screwed that scene up, and I screwed that scene up, and I screwed that scene up. Excuse me. But that's kind of the journey that I'm on right now, is to really kind of try to improve it even another step, trying to step it up. In a number of ways. I'm learning how to sing. I'm learning how to move better. I'm working on comedy. It's kind of a never-ending journey about acting, and that's one of the things I love about it.
You have to leave yourself open to experiment and learn.
Yeah.
And be willing to not put yourself down, but recognize when you need a little more work in some area or other.
And it is also that a lot of the scenes that the acting work that I've done that I look back and I go, that was a failure. It is the same mindset that allows me to get better, because it's like I tried something, it didn't work. I have to try something like 10 or 15 times before I get it right. So there's going to be a lot of like tries that fail, and that's okay. I'm here.
Whose work do you really admire?
The career that I love is, oh my God, I'm just blanked on his name because I got hit on the head when I was 8. Kurt Russell. I mean, Kurt Russell looks like he is having a blast all the time. And that's what I loved about acting to begin with, is it was fun. So I envy that. But there are so many phenomenal actors. God, I mean, they just keep coming. Jude Law, all the Chris's.
All the Chris's. The Hemsworth.
Yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio. It's just, there are so many really phenomenal actors out there right now.
If you could change something about your career, what would it be? If I'd had this opportunity...
I did have an opportunity, but it's complicated. So I was offered the role that Brad Pitt did in Thelma and Louise before Brad Pitt was offered it. But I was doing another job, and they overlapped, and I couldn't make it work. So I couldn't accept the role. Part of me looks back on that and goes, well, I knew when I read that script, it was like the cheeriest script I'd ever read, and it was one of the cheeriest roles I'd ever read. And I knew that whoever got that was going to have 3-4 shots at having a film career. So, that kind of hangs over me and has for years. But who knows what would happen if I'd have got that job? Maybe I would have not been successful in those shots, and maybe it would have destroyed me emotionally. So, on the one hand, I can look at that and go, yeah, there's that path. It could have been that path. But I'm pretty happy, I've got a great family. I've had a great career. Very proud of the work I've done. I still have more ahead of me. So it's really hard to answer that question in a way other than that.
I remember going to a screening of Thelma and Louise before it opened and just thinking to myself, wow, what a movie.
Yeah.
It was a terrific movie all the way around.
Yeah.
You've also done some stage work.
Mm-hmm.
How does performing live on Broadway compare to your TV work?
Gosh, it's very different. It's very different because you have so much time to work on things. And then if you're in a long run, I did Wit for 6 months, and not a particularly big role. But after about, 30 performances, it's like the light bulb goes off. You go, oh, I missed that. And then it happens again at like 75 performances. Like, and it's so you keep getting these moments of inspiration.
Epiphanies?
Yeah. And they come, I think, with relaxation. When it gets to the point where you know this so well and you're so relaxed, then your eyes are opened to yet another thing.
Does that hamper the opportunity to keep it fresh? Do you keep that in mind all the time? You want to, you hear about performers talk about keeping it fresh. Mm-hmm. And like every time is the first time you've done it.
I think the audience did that for me every time, because the audience is always there, and even though my character, like Wit, again, back to Wit, my character was kind of the villain, I could tell how well I had done my job by how much they loved Judith Light's character. Because the better I was, the more they loved her, and so you are always there with the audience, and they are always feeding you, and that's another thing that's like really exciting about theater. They tell you when you're doing bad and when you're doing good, like immediately, and it's very much easier to kind of adjust and move into.
Is there a role you can think of, apart from the Brad Pitt role in Thelma and Louise, that you really wish you would have gotten?
Yeah, and I'm still working on it, even though I'm way too old for it, and that's Shannon in Night of the Iguana. I don't know what it is about that character. He's so different from me, but he's just on the edge of insanity all the time because he needs human connection so much, and he does it incorrectly, and it destroys him. It had destroyed him. I don't know. It's so complicated. It's so poetic. Tennessee Williams is amazing. When you do a Tennessee Williams play, it is like you are in the middle of a poem. It's really wonderful.
Grant, are you hard on yourself?
Yes. Yeah, very.
Do you feel that's important to what you do for a living?
It's important for me. I mean, it just is who I am. I don't think there's anything I can do to stop that. I think maybe in my older age, cutting myself a little slack is a good thing, as long as I don't cut corners.
Because I find sometimes you got to walk away from something for a while.
Even when you're memorizing lines, working out really, really hard, and then put it down. Tomorrow, you will know it better than you did after you were done working on it really, really hard. And when you step away from something, especially something that you've been working on, you can gain a new perspective on it.
Do you have people around you who tell you, let it go, let up a little bit?
I don't think I do, actually. My wife, Catherine, she is harder working than I am, and she's harder on herself than I am on myself. So I have to say that to her sometimes.
How does that go over?
I think she hears me, and then keeps working.
Because
it works for her. She works very, very hard, and it works for her.
Understandably, I've encountered actors male and female, who can be a little thin-skinned.
I don't think I'm thin-skinned. That I don't think I am. I don't think Catherine is either. and partly maybe that's one of the reasons I'm so hard on myself. So if I'm harder on myself than anybody else, well, then you can't hurt me. I'm already harder on myself than you could ever be. So you say whatever you want.
What's the biggest shift you've noticed in Hollywood between the 1990s and today?
It's still the same animal. I think it's good that we have opened our aperture, and it's not just a Caucasian world anymore.
Largely, it is largely, but...
Yeah, but that aperture has opened a lot.
Right.
And that's a good thing. But the business, I think, is still the business. It's pretty cutthroat, and you got to survive. You got to keep fighting. I think, I don't think it's changed a whole lot.
If Melrose Place ever got the reboot treatment again, where do you picture Jake Henson's life today?
Yeah, it really could go anywhere, because it's been so many years. But for all of Jake's rough edges and his kind of getting himself into trouble, I think most of what drove him was that he needed a family. He needed someone to love, and he needed to be loved. And so I do think that he took off to go be with the mother of his child. Whether that would have worked or not, I think that he would have found his little nuclear family, which I think is what he really wanted. And how that would play into a new.
When was the last time you were in Hawaii?
We go almost every summer.
Oh, really?
Not summer, almost every winter. I'm sorry. Yeah, we've missed the last couple, but we go to Kauai, not Oahu.
Kauai's a beautiful island.
I love it. Yeah.
I like the Big Island too.
Yeah. I haven't been to Big Island, but I hear great things.
Yeah.
Oahu's great too. Oahu's got so much going on there. There's so many different places and so many different characters in Oahu.
First time I went to Hawaii was to Oahu, and all the people I knew who'd been to Hawaii all said, Oahu.
Yeah, no. There's some. Listen, Waikiki Beach is Waikiki Beach. It's famous for a reason.
Hilton Hawaiian Village.
Yeah, all this stuff is great. It's kitschy and silly, and
Don Ho is still alive.
Yeah, all that.
And Diamond Head.
Yeah.
I took my parents for their 50th wedding anniversary. We went because my mother always wanted to go to Hawaii, so we did that. So I had to tag along. I'm not certain they liked that.
But did you go to the University of Hawaii's swimming pool in the middle of the night and go skinny dipping?
No,
I
didn't.
I have.
No,
apparently.
I didn't. But growing up in Chicago, we had to take swimming once a week, start naked. Boy, that was embarrassing.
That's creepy.
I don't think they do that anymore in the
I
Chicago
hope
public
not.
school system. But, God, it was frightening.
That's pretty weird, That's not normal.
By today's standards.
No, I think even back then.
In the 60s?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The naked part is a little odd. You might want to talk to someone about that.
Do you think maybe I've carried it around all these years?
Buried back in there deeply.
Hey. We'll be back in a moment. Social media wasn't part of the equation back then. How do you think it would have changed your experience?
You mean back during the 90s?
Yes.
I would have failed at it. It's
Do you
not
spend any
something-
time on
none,
social media?
None at all. I don't see its value. I just I don't get it, and I don't think it's just because I'm an old fart. I think it's because I never would have gotten it. It's just not the idea of ticking off a little check marks that I got my I posted my photo by the Hollywood sign, and I posted it by the pink wall, which I guess is not a thing anymore. I'm sure it's not a thing anymore. I hope it's not. But I just find that such a waste of time. Why don't you live your life? I didn't take pictures when I went on vacation with a regular camera because I would rather be there than take pictures of there. So I think social media is just bumped that up a lot.
I don't get that. I don't get the idea of posting yourself everywhere you go.
No.
I don't understand that
It actually
either.
kind of offends me in a weird way, and I haven't figured out why yet. I mean, maybe it's just some shortcoming in myself, but I look at it and go, I just kind of get like, it grosses me out a little bit. I probably should figure out what that is. I've looked at it. I haven't figured it out yet. I'll let you know when I do.
I recently went on the internet, and it said, yesterday you spent approximately 11 hours on. I was like, 11 hours? That's longer than a workday, a standard workday.
How'd you do that?
You know what? I spend a lot of time reading.
Yeah.
I'll read a lot.
Yeah.
I don't get I used to get newspapers delivered every day. It just doesn't happen anymore. The newspapers have become so expensive. And I like to find out sports.
Right.
I'll wake up in the middle of the night, and I'm a Cubs fan, Bears fan, you name it, Chicago, and I'll have to check out how the teams, did if I went to bed early. Or in this day and age, I'm not naming names, but there's a lot going on in the news.
Yeah.
And I just have to, they say you're not supposed to turn on your phone, and it's the light during the middle of the night. It interrupts your sleep pattern.
I'm sure it does.
Well, I'm pretty good at sleeping, but although last night I had a problem. Anyway, there's cameras in everyone's pockets anymore.
Yeah.
I know when, I haven't done it for a while now, but when you used to have to go to awards shows, there's these people lined up, and they all have cameras, and they're all asking stars to take their picture with them,
Yeah, I don't know. Like the amount of people that want a picture with me is manageable now, so it's not a big deal. At the time, if everyone had a camera in their pocket, I don't know what you just learned a different skill set, I guess. You learn how to give as much as you can and then walk away. I would imagine. I don't know
what your best angle is.
Well, yeah, when you're 30, it's every angle, isn't it?
Yes, that's true. What do you think of programs like TMZ?
I never liked them. I thought that they were sort of ghoulish. They preyed upon and became wealthy on other people's misfortunes. That's sort of the dehumanizing that I'm talking about. They weren't treating celebrities, quote unquote, like human beings. They were treating them like celebrities, and they were fair game, or they are fair game. It's a little different now, I think, because the celebrities are putting themselves in that position now through social media. They are, and a lot of them are celebrities just because of that reason, because they've put themselves in that place. But not everybody wanted that back then. You know what I mean? And it's kind of unfair and kind of creepy. But that is a different world now. You're asking how it's different, how the business is different. Yeah, people. There are departments at agencies that are devoted just to people who are influencers. So.
Yeah, that's kind of a funny thing. Have you ever had a stalker or an obsessed fan?
No, there was a stripper once in Detroit who sent me a lot of stuff. She told me she worked at Cheetah's, but the classy one at the south end of town, not that tacky one up at the north end of town.
It's kind of strange getting pictures. I mean, nowadays everybody is sending pictures, nude pictures of themselves.
I don't get nude pictures. No one sends me. I don't want nude pictures. Thank you, but I don't look at that stuff. Like, I don't know what comes to. I have a Instagram account. I think I've posted maybe 40 times, and if you look at it, it's really stupid stuff.
Your dogs?
No, I don't know, something I saw on the street. You know what I mean? Something that interested me. And then I realized nobody wants to see that, so I stopped posting altogether. But I don't look at the message. If someone sends me a message through that, I don't look at that. It's not my people know how to get a hold of me. They can call my phone, or they can text me, or they can even email me. I don't want nothing to do with that.
Okay. Has Hollywood ever disappointed you in ways that made you rethink your path?
Yeah, shortly after Melrose Place, I thought maybe I should stop acting. For a long time after Melrose Place, every room I went into for an audition, like Melrose Place was in the room, and just couldn't shake it. I couldn't shake it. And then, gosh, it was probably about 3 years into that, I realized it was in the room because I was bringing it in the room with me. It was in my head. And once I sort of threw that out, I was able to kind of move on. So it wasn't really the business per se that had done it to me. It's my own kind of development. And I think there are moments like that where you're always kind of, especially when you're the product, you're always kind of questioning, what is it that I have to deliver now? What do I have to offer today? It's different than it was yesterday or 3 years ago or 5 years ago. And do I have anything to offer now? And I think those questions, if you're not asking those questions, I think you're dead in the water.
What's the answer to that question for you?
That is exactly I'm cocooning right now. I don't know yet. As you get older, what is interesting about that age that you're at is different. And a lot of it people don't really care about, nor do they want to see. So I'm having that self-examination right now as to what is it that I have to offer that will interest people and is like maybe something they should see. And I don't know what that is yet. Right now, I don't know.
We'll be back for more in a moment. Looking down the road of your career, what do you see ahead?
Yeah, I just want to keep working in the way that I've been working. I've really enjoyed myself. I think that I am opening my own aperture as to what things are interesting to me. I think that I'm more available to what someone would call character work now. And that's kind of the direction I want to move in.
What or who got you through the tougher chapters? Have you had tougher chapters?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think my spirituality, I was raised Christian. I wouldn't say that I don't go to church all the time, but I still believe in my Christian tenets, I guess. My faith I would call my faith Christianity. So God has gotten me through a lot. And, my friends and my family, and now my wife and my daughter.
How old's your daughter?
She's 11. She's amazing.
Is she?
Yeah. I mean, that is like, yeah, I would not trade anything for her. Nothing.
What does she want to do?
She's into musical theater. She wants to do that. Right now, we just moved back. We moved to Atlanta, and just recently, for Catherine's doing the Pit. My wife just got an Emmy Award for her part, her role on the Pit, which was like just the most exciting thing ever. So we moved.
We had
back.
Noah Wiley here.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was before he won, though, right? Yeah, good for him too.
We're ahead of our time.
Yeah. So
we're cutting edge.
So we just moved back to California, having gone to Atlanta. We went to Atlanta for me for Dynasty, and now we come back to California for Catherine for the Pit. So she's in a new school and meeting new friends, and kind of all that stuff is on the back burner. Right now she's just being a kid, but she really, for a long time, she was really focused on singing and dancing. And
is she good?
She can dance.
Okay.
No, she can sing.
You better say that as her father. Did you ever feel, excuse me, pressure to live up to the leading man image?
Yeah, all the time. That's what I'm not feeling now, which is why I'm able to look at more character work now. Yeah, all the time. Absolutely. It's like, and even when you're working, it's like, well, I might have an instinct to do a certain thing, and it's like, well, you can't do that because they don't really want to see that. So, what can you do? I think that's constant.
Can you think of an actor or someone who's, apart from Kurt Russell,
I'm going to say Kurt Russell again, though. He does character work.
right?
You know, I mean, Big Trouble in Little China. Like,
Who do you wish you could have worked with? Who may not be around anymore?
There's my brain again. Dr. Strangelove, 2001: Space Odyssey.
Peter Sellers?
Yeah, no, the director.
Oh, Stanley Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, I hear he was awful to actors, but I don't care. When I saw Clockwork Orange, it really changed my perception of what could and couldn't be done. But up until then, movies were, at best rocky. They were entertainment. I saw Clockwork Orange, and it takes you down this road, and you're like, yeah, this is great. All this violence is really fun. And then you go, oh no, oh I hate that guy. Oh no. And then you go, yeah, punish that guy, punish him. And then you go, oh yeah, but no, don't punish him like that. He takes you down this road and gets you emotionally involved in something, and then convinces you that your emotional involvement that you had before, that you were so excited about, is not good. And I just didn't. It was just enlightening to me to see that
was Malcolm McDowell,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Where his eyes were.
Yep. Stuck open and made him watch the ultra violence. Yeah.
When you look back at your career decades from now, what do you hope to take away? Or what do you hope that the audience has taken away?
Gosh, I hadn't really thought about that. Well, I feel like I've fallen short. If I answer that, maybe I've fallen short. I don't. I think the thing that acting and storytelling is supposed to be is to make people feel not alone. And if I can have done that for some people, that would be the sort of, the best of what I hope for. I mean, it's not always that way, but.
Do you stay in touch with any of your Melrose castmates?
Yeah. I live right around the corner from Laura and Doug, their new house in L.A. Yeah, occasionally I just drop a note, or someone, something happens. There's been some sort of event type things where we all kind of, run into each other. And, Laura told me about this.
Right. Have you done, what did you like living in Atlanta?
I loved Atlanta.
Oh, did you?
I really did. It's just a beautiful city. The people are really nice.
And you shot Dynasty there?
Yeah. I shot 3 shows there. I shot Devious Maids there, so I was there 4 years doing that. And then I did a show, my wife had a show there called Satisfaction that I believe I did 2 seasons of that. And then 5 seasons on Dynasty. It's just a great city. It really is. It rains a lot, but it's so green and beautiful because it rains a lot. Played a lot of tennis and golf. The only problem was once Dynasty was over, I couldn't find my community for acting. There are a lot of expats there, and I reached out to a bunch of people, and I was always trying to not have a class, but like a gym where we could all kind of get together and maybe work on a scene or work on this and do something. And it's such a cushy life there. I don't think anybody wanted to do it. So I'm excited to be back in Los Angeles because those opportunities are there. I am doing all that stuff.
Long time ago, back in the 80s, I used to work out at the Hollywood YMCA, and there were all kinds of, it seems as though there were so many actors who worked out there, George Clooney and Tim Allen. I even ran into Bruce Springsteen there.
God, I worked out there for a while. I don't remember if I played racquetball. Did they have a racquetball court
Yes,
there?
they had several racquetball courts.
There was a big basketball game there.
Yes.
I remember that. Is that building still there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So anyway, I interrupted you.
No, but just, I understand what you're talking about in terms of finding people to connect with, to network with.
Your people, I mean, I had great friends there, but they were like my tennis buddies, and it's a different world. It doesn't feed your creativity.
How's your serve?
My serve's okay. I played last night. No, it's Friday night. I played and my serve was off, and I lost because of it. But when my serve's on, it's probably the strongest part of my game.
Do you watch tennis on television?
I do.
Who's your favorite?
Of the men, I love 1 and 2. You know, Sinner and Alcaraz are great to watch, but I prefer to watch women's tennis.
Do you?
Yeah, it's men's tennis. Other than those top 4 or 5 guys, men's tennis is like serve and return, and that's it. There's not a lot, of long rallies.
I miss the Williams sisters.
Yeah, I wasn't playing when they were playing, so I never really watched them. I just started playing like 2.5 years ago.
No, that's late in life.
Yeah, but I love it. I was golfing, and golfing just kind of stopped giving me joy. It just became about trying to get good again, and then I started playing tennis because my daughter started playing, and so I was like, well, let me learn how to play so I can play with her. And tennis just gives me joy all the time.
I tried golf. Gave me a tension backache.
Yeah, it's hard.
Oh, it is hard. It's very hard. If you could give young Grant a piece of advice about Melrose Place.
Oh yeah, don't take it don't take yourself so seriously. I mean, it's all the cliches. That really, I think, it would sum it up for Melrose Place. Like, really try to enjoy it more, and don't take it so seriously. Don't take yourself so seriously. And be interested. I've said this before. Be interested, not interesting.
Are you guilty of that?
Oh yeah, all those things, of course. That's like the things that those are the roadblocks or the speed bumps or whatever that get in my way of being the best person I can be.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Continued success.
Thank you. You too.
And thanks for coming in.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks for having me here.
Still Here Hollywood is a production of the Still Here Network. All things technical run by Justin Zangerly. Theme music by Brian Sanishin. And executive producer is Jim Lichtenstein.